Hello guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making a little video for you on how I make my lasagna. I especially want to make this video for my children so that they can remember how their mama made their lasagna. And I hope that you as well enjoy it. I've already got my water here going to boil. It's been on, heating it up. I'm going to add some salt to it. That's it. Now my skillet is heated up. I'm going to be using some ground beef. Alright, I'm going to use all of this because I like my lasagna to be really meaty. Let me get that going in here. So basically my lasagna, everything is store-bought, of course. I don't have the blessing to be able to make the delicious gravy that Italians make. Although my beautiful friend Ronnie, she showed me how she makes hers, and she's an authentic Italian. And she makes the best eggplant parmesan with her homemade gravy slash sauce. Not to offend anybody out there. So yeah, she makes the most delicious gravy in the world. And especially her eggplant parm. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be browning this. And while I'm browning this, I'm going to also be taking my mozzarella and I'm going to be grating it and getting that ready for our meal. So we got a few things going on in here. I will also be preparing, of course, off camera, not on camera, my famous coffee cake that I have made here on YouTube with Bisquick. But as you'll notice, today's boxes don't have the recipes that they used to have, but I saved an old recipe box and here's the recipe. You can take a screenshot of that if you like, or go to my coffee cake recipe video. So I'll be making this for dessert. Since I'm going to be having the oven on, I figured let me take advantage of making more than one thing while I'm using it. So I'll continue to chop this up and telling you what else I have for my recipe. So I am using the meat flavored tomato sauce. I am using ricotta. I'll be using Parmesan cheese. And that's it. So you've seen everything. Oh, and of course, our pasta. Let me continue to toss this a little bit. Now I like this to be nice and brown, which I'll be adding my sauce to. Then I will show you how I prepare and assemble my lasagna. I wore a red shirt on purpose today because we're cooking Italiano. Alright, I'm going to continue to cook this. This is coming up to a boil. And, well, you know what? This is coming up to a boil really quick, so I think I'll just stick around and show you how I put my pasta in there. It's always worked for me the way I do it. Now I have not added any oil to the water. Alright, this is coming up to a boil already, so what I'll do is I'll show you what I do. Put this here. See what side I'm going to open. Goodness gracious, they make everything so hard to open. So the way that I do my pasta is I hold it like this in my hand. I don't just drop it in. I hold it this way, sideways. I don't let go of it. And as soon as it starts to bend, then I will put it in there, as you'll see. I'll give it a few minutes. Let me let that soften up a little bit. Continue to stir this. Now with my mozzarella, I know that there's the convenience of buying already shredded mozzarella. I've never used it. You can tell me in your comments if you've used the shredded and how you like it, but I trust the old-fashioned block of cheese being grated. Alrighty, this is coming along. Let's see how this is coming along. Hot. Careful. Still not soft enough so I can get it all in there. So like I say, these videos, I like to make them for my children and my loved ones because keeping my recipes that they've grown up loving is, you know, something that people forget how you do it or what you bought and how you assemble things. So it's good to leave a little legacy of how you prepare your stuff for your children, grandchildren, family members, and friends that have enjoyed your cooking. They can come back and do the same thing like yours. Because you always hear stories of, yeah, I remember so-and-so, she used to make this. I have the recipe. I tried making it, didn't come out the same. But here I'm showing people that I love, alright, how you make it. So here, it's softening up. So that's it. I just pop it in there and I leave it just like that. And then as it continues to get soft, I just move it back and forth, making sure that there's enough water in between all the noodles. And that's it. Alright, I'm going to continue to let this brown. I'm going to continue to let this cook. And I'm going to start grating my cheese off camera so I don't take up your time. And we'll see you back in a little bit. Okay guys, I'm back. So while I was off camera, the pasta has been cooked. It's sitting in some cold water. I've taken my grated cheese. I've grated it here. And I've taken my sauce. I've dumped it into this bowl because I'm going to use this container to remove the fat that I'm draining out of my meat into here. So this is really, I hear people say it takes such a long time to make lasagna that they hardly make it because it's so hard. How hard is it to brown some meat and boil some pasta and grate some cheese? I find it really easy to make and quick, unless you're doing a genuine, authentic Italian lasagna where you're making your own gravy and you're doing all that kind of stuff. But so far, this is not that hard. As you can see, I'm removing the fat from my pan. Better to go into a jar and down the sink and into your arteries. Get this going, and like I always tell my viewers, when you're making meat, brown it. Give it color. Color adds to flavor. Alright, I think I've gotten out as much as I can. So here is my meat that has been browned and drained. You cook this until all the liquid has dissolved and it starts browning itself. Alright, let me get rid of this jar. And we will continue. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sauce that I have here and I'll throw it in here. Remember, I put the sauce in the bowl just because I needed the jar for throwing all that fat out. I'll show you my grated mozzarella. And I'm going to turn on my stove and just start warming this up again. I love this with so much sauce. I think they call it bolognese when it's so chunky, full of meat. And mine's going to be cheesy and delicious. And I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, I am back. So I've assembled things differently here. I've opened up my ricotta. I have my Parmesan and grated cheese here. And we're ready to assemble. So the way I like to do this is, I like to take and put some of my sauce on the bottom. Just a little bit so that what I'm going to put on the bottom doesn't stick, my first layer. So my mom, she used to take cottage cheese and an egg in a bowl, whip that up, and put that on the bottom. I don't do that, but you can if you want. So you can have cottage cheese, one egg, whip it up, put that as your first layer, and then continue to assemble your lasagna. So this is in cold water, and I'm just going to start layering. I've already turned my oven on. It's heating up. So now I'm going to take some more sauce. You know, I do have some more sauce. I might add some more to it, only because I don't want it to be too dry. So I'm going to add a little bit more to that. I want this to be decadent. I want it to be extra. And I just remembered that usually this is 24-ounce jar of sauce, but I normally would buy the bigger jar. But I just remembered I only used a smaller jar, so I'm gonna just take my bottle opener and get that open. And then I'm just going to add some, like half more of the jar in here. And that's about that. Totally forgot that I was using the small jar because I'm like, wait a minute, this is looking a little skimpy here. No skimping here. Now, let's see if we put some more. Don't forget those corners, because those are the best when you eat your lasagna. So I'm dolloping my ricotta, my ricotta. Did I do good? Alrighty. So scrumptious. Now when you're making yours, use whatever brands you like, you favor, whatever it is you like in yours. I'm doing what I favor, what my family likes. Alrighty, that part's done. So now I'm throwing in some more cheese. Let me look in my oven. Make sure everything's good in there. I love a cheesy top. That is for sure. Alright, so I will continue to do this. I'm going to be pressing it down because I want it to be enough room in here for everything. Like I said, the brand that you're using is up to you. This is just what I buy in my local supermarket. Let me get one here in the corner. This is what I buy in my local supermarket. And my pasta is al dente. You can kind of see in there. I don't know if you could focus in on it, but it's not cooked all the way through. Because as we all know, it's going to be cooked more in the oven. Now I see the sauce. Now that's better. And you know what I noticed? In shopping for certain ingredients, we don't all have the same supermarkets and availability of brands and products. I noticed that if I go into another county and I'm picking up some stuff that I'm gonna need where I'm at, I find that they don't have a lot of the things that my supermarket have. And then I have to go without and find it somewhere else. Especially if you go to different states. Go to different states is a totally different story as well. It's like, huh? When you ask for huh? What are you talking about? What is that? Okay, thank you. Next. Do what you can. Alrighty, we're almost done with this there. Oh, gee guys, you didn't tell me. I forgot to put my Parmesan cheese in between. I put it in every layer. Oh well, we'll get it this time. I want to see my cheese. I don't know about you. And this is how I do it. This is how I've been cooking since I started cooking for my family. Alright, that layer is done. As you see, I'm pressing down on it because it's a little lumpy. And I want nice even layers and distribution. So this also spreads out my ricotta so that every bite has delicious pieces in there of cheese evenly. Alrighty, So it looks like we're down to done. So now I'm going to just take and fill this layer up. All right, let's spread this out. Now I only have one sheet here, so I'm just going to throw that there. And I have the two end pieces that I cut, so I'll stick that in the middle. How's that? Like a crucifix. All right, so I'll put some sauce on that. I'm telling you, this is going to be very cheesy. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to dump in the rest of this because this is my last layer. And I'm going to scoop out all the yumminess. Like I was saying before, this is how I make it, how I like my flavor. And now the top layer is the best layer because it's going to be decadent with cheeses. You see that? All covered. Now I'm going to finish off with putting the rest of this container in here. And I'm going to be throwing that into the oven. And I'm going to cook it uncovered until all my cheese is melted and everything is bubbly and golden on top. Alrighty. And get those corners, because you know the first piece in there is always the corner. And here we go. Get it all out. Ta-da! Now you've seen how easy this is. Honestly, you brown this quickly. This is boiling while you're browning here. While this is browning, you're grating your cheese. And it can't be any easier. So don't be afraid of making a lasagna at home. And don't look at my clock at when I started and when I'm getting to assemble. I do work off the camera, and I had an important phone call to take in between, so that's what you see there. But my time prepping anything really wasn't a lot of time. Like I said, as the meat was browning, pasta was cooking, I'm shredding cheese, and I'm taking out the noodles from the hot water so they don't overcook. Alrighty, that part's done. So now I'm going to take and add a lot of Parmesan cheese on top. And this is it. So when I come back, I will show you how beautiful this came out. Look, just finished that jar. Perfect. All right, guys, I'm going to bake this 350 until the top is nice and bubbly and nicely golden brown, and we'll come back. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, guys, so here we are. We're back. My lasagna is cooked thoroughly. As you can see, it's nice and golden brown on the top. While I had the oven on, I baked these little raspberries and this berry little cup with the crumble on top. And down in the oven, I will show you how this is coming along. I have here my biscuit coffee cake. Alright guys, so this is it. Everything is done. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little tutorial, that you try it and let me know what you think. Like I said, use whatever ingredients you have at home or local to you. And my Bisquick crumb cake is in my videos, so you can make this at home as well. And like I showed you before, you could take a screenshot of the recipe for the Bisquick, since they no longer print those on the boxes. Right guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and you let me know what you think about it. Give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and let me know what you think. Thank you.